This is my balcony. It's overhang, so I really don't get any rain on the balcony plants. It overlooks a beautiful forest, and I'm right in the middle of Alexandria. It's quite a nice way to do it. The blue bin in the middle spent most of the year with slips, basically a purple sweet potato that I picked up from my local organic market. I put it in under a sheet of plexiglass to give it kind of a little extra start on seeds. I picked up charcoal from one of the local Peruvian chicken places around Alexandria. Um, he carefully gave me great big pieces. I didn't think about it, but I really would have enjoyed all the dust from the bottom of his cans. Anyway, it's a nice dry charcoal that doesn't color your hands, so that means it's a good charcoal. I put it into the ubiquitous kitty litter containers and wet it down. I needed to add some stuff to charge it. I didn't have any horse manure. However, we do have these Canadian geese around, and I thought, well, that's fresh, and most things they eat are just, grubs and duckweed and stuff like that. So I picked up a little batch and I used that to charge my biochar. I was informed later on that I might have chosen another creature, but relatively speaking, they're pretty good. And the price was right because I'm an apartment dweller. I can't, and I don't even own a car, so I don't run around everywhere to get things. I wanted to add a little bit of charcoal and bone meal. I had some bone meal and I just broke up a little bit of charcoal, or of, not charcoal, but red clay to put in there. Um, I also put in a tablespoon of red clay dust from another project. Wow, let's hear it for the brassica family. This guy was totally covered and he looks like he's going to make it. There's some kale and they look pretty good. The Brussels sprouts, they look a little long. Of course, you can't stop a good rye plantation. This rye is half biochar laced and half normal. This is the future home of all the brassicas that are sitting over in my friend's greenhouse. These are two that I just kind of gave up on because I didn't really have them protected from the cold. They were this way when I came back. This one's got some clover going in it. This is a crude hugel bed made with rolled up newspapers. And there's a batch of rye that I just kind of dumped on one side, and it seems to be surviving. Here's one that has a big plot of rye down in the middle, but I didn't spread it around. I just had some left over. This rye actually looks more peaked than the other. We'll have to see how well it recovers. It was started with this piece of plastic cover over it originally, but I wanted to just see if it would make it. It's just a cover crop, so I'm not worried about it really thriving. But especially when I found out it was going to wipe out the Swiss chard. Anyway, we've still got a fair amount of snow around here. The cover crop was a jar full of rye seed, turnips, radishes, and mustard. I mixed them up. I put in water and let them sit overnight. I didn't really inoculate them in the traditional sense. I didn't have a lot of gooms, so I didn't figure it was a problem. I used this on one container. Half of it was almost an inch thick in biochar, the one on the right. I used the charged biochar topically in this container. I used the same soaked rye. Unfortunately, the rye tends to just push out anything else. I watched them grow, but as the rye got stronger, it just pushed everybody away. Um, this is something to remember if you use rye. It's great for knocking out weeds, but it's going to push stuff away. If you wait on the rye until it actually pollens and then chop it down, you won't have the same problems with it in a outside community plot that I was maintaining for a downrange soldier. This particular raised bed had some problems in the center. I never quite figured out what they were. That was a new area I put it along the back. It didn't start at all. I had covered it with buckwheat. In this, the rye was seeded the same time as the stuff in the container. It really didn't grow. This soil is really bad. It was a parking area 2 years back, so it has a lot of problems. This side I simply covered with a heavy amount of straw and didn't do anything. This is a brand new area. This was not used for gardening. I put some soil into it and amended it as best I could, and then put cover crop. This was more of a lasagna layered compost, and I had some flowers growing in there. That seems to have done the best as far as the outside rye. I'll turn this over when the snow is finished, probably next week.